Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far.
Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. Today is Friday. It is May 15th and we have a lot to cover, so I'm going to put all of this up front. I want to do the Q&A at the end like I usually do, but I want to give you as much information as I possibly can right here in the beginning. Okay, so yesterday there was a Municipal Labor Committee vote, and in that vote there was a choice between Benny Bascio from Corrections, and there was another candidate was Jim Brozzi from the Fire Officers Association. You know from the beginning that we supported the Fire Officers Association, and there's a lot of reasons for that. The fire officers, Jim Brozzi, is intelligent. He is an officer. He is educated. He's not a yes man. He's an independent thinker, and it's important, I guess, in my opinion, and I hope all of yours, that you don't have a yes man, because the last thing the Municipal Labor Committee needs, because it's full of yes men, is another yes man. And this is why we were also in the same problem when we had Harry Nespoli, who was chair of the Municipal Labor Committee from sanitation, right? That's the last thing we need, is just another guy that goes along with the flow. Unfortunately, the Municipal Labor Committee, by a 66 and 1/3 vote, or whatever it was, a 2/3 vote of the entire body, they passed that 66% and got a vote to vote in Benny Bascio. Now, in the 5 years that I've been fighting this fight with all of you, and in the 5 years that I've been afforded opportunities to sit with other union leaders who are going to these MLC meetings and allowed to listen to them or shared audio of these meetings, I think I can count on one hand, maybe one or two times in the 5 years that Benny Bascio ever said a thing in any of these meetings. However, you heard Jim Brozzi, and you heard me advocate for this, that Jim was frustrated over the NYC EPPO plan, because what did it do is that they left the civilian unions, left behind the Widows and Children's Fund, and did not fund their welfare fund benefits, while doing all of their hanky-panky and doing what they did and leaving that unfunded at a cost of $3 million a year, a pittance in the grand scheme of things, especially when you look at New York City healthcare program cost the city about $9 billion. This was a multi-billion-dollar 5-year contract. They couldn't come up with funding for the Widows and Children's Fund, and left the uniform unions basically hanging, holding the bag on this. This is what was frustrating. Did Benny Bascio speak out about that? No. So this is my view on this. I was very frustrated by that vote yesterday, learning that. However, my warning is there will be another election come September, and we are going to get behind Jim Brozzi again. And I'm hoping that he does decide to throw his hat in the race one more time. That will be the big election. So right now, Henry Garrido is the acting chair. There is no chair. Then they're supposed to have officer elections. Hopefully they do all of that. And hopefully Jim decides to run again, or another officer uniformed union decides to run as well. However, if Benny Bascio is on the executive board, and he or the officers of the MLC, and is another go with the flow yes man, then this organization, as well as others, will hold him as well as the others accountable, like we have for the last 5 years. So that is all I have to say about that. I am gravely disappointed that 66, and that means that the UFT and DC 37 one more time came out to together to vote in unison, because they wanted someone they can control. They don't want an independent, intelligent thinker like Jim Brozzi. They want someone that they can manipulate. And Benny's been easily manipulatable. Why? Because Benny also agreed to Medicare Advantage. No questions asked. None. So the other COBA issue I have, Some of you have started to email us about COBA. If you are a corrections officer and you are Medicare eligible, we got a few emails, and there was someone came up on our video last week talking about problems that they were having with the Medicare Advantage, with the Medicare, shame on me, with the Medicare drug plan that their COBA union had offered. So if you are one of those corrections officers people, and you are on a plan, let me see if I find my notes, called like Imperex. If you are on Imperex and you are not on Humana, that means you are not on the Medicare plan. So I'm going to give you this phone number. Grab your pens, because if you are Medicare eligible and in corrections, you need to be on the right drug plan if the drug plan you are on is not working for you. So you are to call the benefits manager, known as Retiree First, and you're going to dial 718-285-9102. That's 718-285-9102. This is if you are a corrections officer, Medicare eligible retiree. If you are in Imperex and you are not in a Humana Medicare Part D plan and you are having trouble in the plan you are in, that is who you need to call. Okay, that also brings me to the next drug plan problem many of our retirees are having. So if you are a DEA Medicare eligible retiree and you are having problems with your drug plan, we need to hear from you. So please email us at the organization. Our website is scrolling up there at the top, retirees@nycretirees.org. Please let us know if you are having trouble, and we will make sure that we kind of help you with that situation. What we're finding is that their plan as well is not a Part D plan. They say it's a creditable Part D plan, but it is not a true Medicare Part D. And what that's doing is you're not getting their preventative medication. You're not getting the vaccinations. You're not, there's a maximum cap on your benefits, and there's no maximum out of pocket. So if you are on the DEA, Detectives Endowment Association Medicare drug plan from that union, we want to hear from you if you're having trouble, because we were just speaking with a retiree today and she's having problems. So we need to figure out how many more of you are having these issues. This is what happened when like a year ago, if you remember, William Shenton and a bunch of others were having issues with the 237 plan, the CWA retirees. And then we started advocating for all of you who were on those drug plans that those plans weren't working. And we insisted that the plans are not creditable. We made them look. And of course, they didn't want to talk to us, and almost a year went by, and we just kept the pressure on that those plans were not considered creditable, even though they were sending you out messages saying that they were. And of course, what happened? Well, come January, it was learned that Local 237 and CWA 1180 had to get rid of the plans that they had and move their retirees into a Medicare Part D plan. So we were right the entire time. You will not, as long as this organization is alive and I still have breath in my lungs, you will not get taken advantage of. Trust me. Our organization is going to make sure that someone is advocating for you and shining a big, gigantic spotlight on whatever bullshit someone's trying to pull over your eyes. Okay. Irma, if you are an Irma retiree, meaning you are paying more than the basic Medicare Part B, which in 2025, did you just see that little birdie? That looked like a hummingbird. Oh, it's just a bird. So Medicare Part D, Medicare Part B, as in Bravo, if you were paying more than $185 per month in 2025, and if you don't know, then you have to look either on your Medicare website, go onto Medicare.gov and look for your premiums, or look at your tax return, because you got an SSA form that showed how much you spent on Medicare, how much came out of your Social Security check. So please check if you paid more than $185 a month last year in 2025. You are eligible for an IRMA, Income Related Medicare Adjustment Amount reimbursement. And you need to go to the OLR website and download that form, send in your documentation so that you get your reimbursement. That form has been up now like almost 2 weeks. Okay, moving right along. I did that one. Pension. let's talk about pension. Thank you, Carol. That Newsmax interview came like last minute, and they emailed the organization, and Bob called me and said, "Hey, listen, you got a request to be on Newsmax." And actually, I don't know if I opened it up, but I did drop the full length video into YouTube. You guys can go back and look at it later. And Greg Kelly's father, his Ray Kelly, former police commissioner, like that could not have been any better. So the pension fund, pension UAL, unfunded accrued liability. This is really concerning, especially to us that we've been talking about it for the last year now, almost year and a half. So the city of New York, with the support of the city council so far, because the speaker we hear had been speaking with the UFT and DC 37 and had proposed doing not just the UAL reamortization, also pension bonds, which I told you I was dead set against, as so was our advisors. And then the mayor wanted to do the UAL as well. And now we are also understanding that it's going to be in the state budget. The state today signed another extender. I think that goes through May 18th. That still is not done. So there's going to be time for you. If you remember last year, we had all of you call the state legislature to say, do not put that in the budget. Do not put that in the budget. Do not put that in the budget. Do not put it in the budget. Well, you're probably going to do that again. I'll get to that in a second. So the unfunded accrued liability, UAL, right now we are being told is supported by 4 of the 5 pension systems. And the only pension system I am told to date that is not supporting the reamortization is the police pension fund. Why are we being told that the others are agreeing to do it? Because they are being promised moolah. We are being told, just like before, that the City Office of Labor Relations is enticing the union leadership who are on the board of trustees of those 5 pension systems, that if they agreed to the reamortization, that they would get more money at the bargaining table for their welfare funds. Now, I'm sure you all remember that video of Michael Mulgrew in 2022 saying, the city said if we gave them back that 20% plan, they would give us that money for our welfare funds. This, to me, is extremely disturbing. And here we go again. Here we go again. It's going to happen again. So now they're looking at what? Another way of padding their welfare funds by putting a pension at risk. And for those of you that have never heard me speak in like the last, 18 or 20 months, who never heard what the unfunded accrued liability reamortization is, remember last year, because this is not political, this is pure financial. You had both Justin Brannan and Brad Lander saying this is a bad idea to do. Mayor Adams wants to do it and stick it in the budget. We wholly disagree. This is not the time. We're not in a fiscal crisis. And we're not in a fiscal crisis right now either. So then you also had like Manhattan Institute and the Citizens Budget Commission, which are typically not union friendly, also saying the same thing. Now, just think about that. And I've said this before, whenever you have the left and the right both saying the same thing, this isn't a political issue. This is purely financial. And so I want to commend the police unions that spoke out to the press this week and saying that their pensions, that they broke their rear ends to make sure that their pensions were earned and not put at risk in any way, to make sure that their members and their retirees are protected. I commend you for that. However, I am hearing everyone else, the fire pension system, fire pension fund, NYCERS, New York City Employees Retirement System, BERS, Board of Ed Retirement System, and of course the Teachers Retirement System, once again, who led this charge last year, is leading it again. All of them have agreed so far, I am told, to go ahead and do it. And again, they were encouraged to do so, because why would they want this? Well, if they can help reduce what the city has to spend, it frees up more cash. Why would unions want more cash? Well, of course they'd want more cash, because then there's collective bargaining and there's raises and there's welfare funds and there's bills that they want to get done. And they're trying to help fund the Tier 6 fix so that the governor would actually do it. So all of those things, they're great, wonderful things. But it shouldn't be at the expense of your pension, because what's going to happen is, yes, the city is obligated by law to pay that pension. And you've heard me say that a million times. Oh, yeah, they'll pay the pension, but then they're coming after your wallet. They will charge you a higher fee for services. They will charge you more copays for insurance. They will charge you higher deductibles in your healthcare. They will potentially force you to pay more for whatever service it is that you're paying for in the city of New York. And that's going to happen. They may even raise your taxes if you're still a resident. However, where I'm focused is where they're going to start charging us more premium or more deductibles, higher deductibles in our healthcare, because that was another scheme that the MLC constantly did. And I've also told you the current MLC is still trying to raise the deductible charged to Medicare eligible retirees to that equal almost of what Medicare is. So today, your deductible for senior care is $50. The MLC is having conversations to make that $300. Yes. So I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. This is why we need to stay vigilant, because they are going to do things as long as we are not at that table, and we don't belong at that table. But they had a responsibility to protect retirees, and they are not. They are literally serving us up on a silver platter. So in order for us to make sure that we are heard, we have to make sure that our voice is out there, that when we put out a homework, that you guys are calling the state, calling the city council, and to make sure that your voices get heard. So that's why it's super, super important to stay involved and stay active, because this is how they got to this point of taking advantage, and how the Municipal Labor Committee leadership has lost its way by, unfortunately, selling off its retirees. All right. That's basically all the news that I have so far. Oh, one more thing before I start looking at comments and questions. Make sure you are looking for any proof of payment for any copay from January 1 of 2022 through January of 2023. Okay, just look for 1 year, January to January, 22 to 23. I want you to look for any proof of payment that you paid a copay during that period of time. If we're able to finally settle this case, you will get a letter. We will do a million videos and make a wonderful announcement, but you will also get a list of everything that you have to look for, but you're going to have a narrow window to do that. This is why I'm encouraging you to try to do this now. And I've been doing this now for the last 6 months. So hang in there, because hopefully we'll have some really good news. Really, really good news for you. Let's see. Let's go to comments now and see what we have. Laura, how dandy. Benny is perfect for Garrido, and Mulgrew is such a compromised, pathetic leadership. And this was disturbing, Laura, because there was really no reason for that. I mean, I'm sure Henry went around and told all of his locals, you have to do this, or give me your proxy. It's just frustrating to learn that that's how that happened. I'm glad you liked it, Roberta. I've been trying to get to sleep early, but that was a late night for me, but I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad you guys liked it. Hopefully more will come. And it was crazy, because that one video that I did at City Hall went totally viral, 100,000 hits across several of our social medias. It was absolutely crazy. Long Beach, finally got my Medicare replacement card. Great. Your accountant does your Irma? That's interesting. Okay. Thank you, Helen Reddy. My new song, We Are Retirees, Hear Us Roar in Numbers Too Big to Ignore. And we know too much to go back. That's sweet. Nice, Anne. I'm glad you brought Ray Kelly up. Yes, Ray Kelly. Hey, David, good to see you. Jeanette, just mind-boggling how these progressives get elected to city council. Well, Jeanette, I mean, it is a Democratic city. I wouldn't blame progressives for all these issues. There's a lot of other people that are to blame as well that aren't progressive. The question I would really like the answer to is, if police and fire pension boards vote this down, would that would be to pension boards saying no. So what happens? Katie, this is a great question. So what happens now? The mayor likes this idea. If the city council now has to approve this budget, if they approve it, then what happens? Well, it gets put into the state budget, right? So now it's in the state budget. What's going to happen then? It goes to all 5 pension systems. That means the trustees of every one of those pension systems has to vote on this. And I'm already going to tell you how I already know how 3 of the 5 will vote, because they were supporting this the last time when even that was a 12-year extension. This is only 5. So I will tell you that those 5 pension systems, that's why the UFT leadership is trying to push through Tom Brown, because Tom Brown was leading this the last time. So this is what you got to keep your eyes on. And this is why all elections count. If you have a vote on a board of trustees for your retirement system, you better make sure you vote, because this is what guides how they're going to vote. Is Tom Brown going to do what Mulgrew says or what Mulgrew wants? Yeah, of course he is. Now, he says he has a fiduciary responsibility, which he does, because I've watched his videos. However, he supported this from the get-go. They're not looking at the risk, even though they say they are, because they would be listening to all the financial experts saying this is not a good idea. But where this is, again, another situation where retirees will look at this issue differently, because our needs are inherently different. Right now, an active worker has more time before he or she has to collect that pension. Right now, we are collecting our pension, and we don't want to see that has a risk. They're not even worried about it. Look, they're not even worried about their damn health care. It's us that's worried about it, because we're the ones that are actually using it. Remember, we were told that one year, was it 21? We were calling around asking all of the unions, hey, like, would you talk to us about this issue? How do you stand on this? And a couple of the active workers literally said to us, hey, listen, if we had to sell off that old people insurance for a raise, we will, because we have to work another 40 years. We don't need that old people insurance. They're not recognizing that old people's insurance is their insurance. So sadly, but true. Joined the retiree organization. Great work. Mayor of Bodybuilding TV. Cool. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you donate to us as well. Our same website where you joined, nycretirees.org. Some retirees support us with a monthly donation. Donate whatever you can, and one time, quarterly, whatever you're able to do, because this helps fund our lawyers and the organization staying active to be able to fight for you. So welcome to the club. Bait and switch union welfare fund. I know, Roberta. Will the PBA get the money if they refuse to pay ball? Well, Gerald, I can't answer that question, because of course that's not in writing, but I will tell you the unions will probably be offered that they will get welfare fund money at the table if they play nice now. They're going to do that on a handshake and a wink, and they will probably say, listen, if you go along with this now, we'll remember this when we're in the room. And that's kind of how this stuff goes. They're not going to go, hey, you, pass this UAL amortization and I'll give you some dough. They're not going to say it that way. Of course, that's traceable. And they're not going to want to admit it either. But it's what they did the last time. Tell me they're going to do this for no darned reason? No, they're going to do it for a reason. And it's because they need the funding. Otherwise, there would be no reason to do this. Don't tell me you just want to smooth the pension payments out instead of paying smaller monies now and then larger monies as the next couple of years. That doesn't make any sense. You're allotted $10 billion a year to pay this off. Just pay the damn $10 billion a year. Come the end of 2032, there's no longer, you have $10 billion you're using to pay pensions that you no longer need. That's when I had said to Brad in the video last year, where you saw I played it the last time, that couldn't we use part of that money to fund the retiree health benefit trust? So whenever there truly is a fiscal crisis, they don't look to cut retiree benefits or pass more costs on to us on fixed incomes, that they actually have the funding to tie us over until things calm down. That's the smart thing to do. But then again, no, the mayor still hasn't answered my call, but we're still working on the channels that we were guided to follow, and hopefully that happens. If not, we're looking at making some protests, and you guys will eventually, because now the weather's warm and it's nice out, be joining us really soon. So hang tight. You never know what'll happen. Can we go after fiduciary duty issues regarding the pension plans? We could ask for a TRO. Those of us in each pension plan could potentially bring a class action lawsuit. Well, I don't know about that, but I can ask. With police out, it won't make the 2.29 billion. So where's the money going to come from? I have no idea, but they did give it like a window. And of course, they're not making that part of the details public. After the mayor did his press conference on Tuesday, he held a private technical meeting that was not open to, it was open to the reporters, but it wasn't live streamed or recorded. So there was no real way of knowing how that would happen. And I don't like that because that's not transparent either. But if you're not in that room, again, you don't have the details. So I can't answer that question. So will the other 4 pension funds who agree to do it will be rewarded, but the police will be, but will the police also be included? Oh, so you're asking the same question, Gerald. I can't tell you what will happen. They're not making that, but I will tell you that is currently an enticement. And we've heard that from a few sources, so I'll tell you that's what we were told. The pension amortization is nuts and horrific. How any union boss can view our pensions as trade-offs. Yeah, so Laura, listen to this. If you go up on DC 37 social media, DC 37 is literally saying, do not vote for Intro 303, which is the No More 24 bill, because the bill would jeopardize workers, their wages, their healthcare benefits, and their pensions. That is the biggest lie of the century after the Medicare Advantage lie. Here is a union, a huge union, literally arguing to force workers to work 24 hours and only get paid for 13. I never thought I would see the day. I mean, they not only lost their soul, they lost their way, they've lost all morality in its entirety. Never should a union say you should go work 24 hours and accept that 13-hour payment. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. So if you do go up there, know that they may just block you, but at least, you could always create another screen name, but do it before you post on their website, in case they happen to block you and prevent you from creating new screen names that will have access to their pages. But create a second screen name and then go on and say your piece. But yeah, that's what their posts are, getting their members to call. So calls. Let's touch on that briefly before I continue with the comments. So the other day, I had said to you, I've posted up on our social, to support the No More 24 group. We have been working with the No More 24 group since like last year. And the reason, or 2 years, I'm sorry, the last 2 years. And the reason why is because not only do we have the same sponsor on our legislation, Council Member Marte, but their bills are basically directly in line with ours. We're meeting the same issues. The same people are against us. It's being fought by the union, DC 37. And they're misrepresenting the facts of the case in order to get their way. It's discouraging to see. And remember too, many retirees have home care. Many of our retirees are homebound, or they need home aides to help them get through their day with what we call ADLs, activities of daily living, which might be eating, which might be toileting, which might be getting dressed. There's a lot of things that they need help with. And unfortunately, if a unscrupulous agency sends someone to a retiree that's a 24-hour shift worker and they're only getting paid for 13 hours, and you don't know that, I'm telling you this. So this is why it's important to know that these people are being told that under threat of maybe losing their job, that they have to stay in your home for 24 hours and accept only 13 hours of pay. Typically, when they stay in your house, they're not given any privacy. They're not given a special place to go sleep or lay down. They're either laying on your sofa or sleeping in a chair. And that's if they can sleep, because if you are one of those patients that has some issues that needs to be addressed multiple times during the night, they're not resting. So someone had said to me, hey, why are we helping these people out? Well, that's because we've been working together for like the last 2 years. And these workers help us in our time of need. And this is why it's important to align, because the more friends you have, the more when we do a call, remember, they came to our rally. That's why we post their information or their rallies and tell you to go out. So the other day we posted up a thing that said, please call City Council, the Labor and Labor Committee, and please let them know that you support this bill, that these are also people that help our retirees, and that we understand those issues and we want the bill to pass, the original bill. And that was because at the 11th hour, we were told that the council had altered the language and tried to force through that it was optional for the worker to choose whether or not to do a 24-hour shift. And that was at the request of DC 37. Now, listen, you and I have been around the sun way more times than Henry has, right? The problem with that, and you and I could also relate to this, is that there have been times when we've been at work when management would have coerced us to do what they wanted to, even in violation of our contract, or under threat of being penalized, or under threat of maybe being given a crappy assignment or forced on a shift you didn't want to work. You're going to do this. Well, you don't think by giving the option to work 24 hours that option would be at the option of you losing your job. I mean, come on. So that's why I said to you, please make those phone calls and do that. Today, I posted a homework assignment and I asked you guys to, and I know it was like probably about 1 or 2 o'clock by the time I did it, but I had to format the document for you, is to call last year's Senate sponsors on our legislation and ask you to please call the Senate sponsors that were on last year's bill and ask them to sign on to this bill, Senate Bill 9945. So if you're going to continue the advocacy is to not, let's say not do the pension amortization. Please tell your legislators you don't want to do the pension amortization in the state budget. And then you want to tell them, don't do, please support our legislation 9945. I'm going to ask you to do these in 2 separate calls. So not to do them both in the same call. For some reason, we're being told that senators and assembly members can't juggle 2 messages. So I'm going to ask you, based on guidance, if you're going to give them messages that you don't want them to do the pension amortization in the budget and you want them to support our Senate Bill 9945, please do that in 2 separate emails and 2 separate phone calls. So that way your one message gets through to them in the best way possible. And that message is focused on one issue. I don't know. I think we tend to be able to multitask and juggle a million things, but for whatever reason, the theory is they can't. And the priority would be just whatever specific call that you're working for. So please, if you're interested in doing that, we did this last year where we also did our bill and we also were advocating to not put the reamortization in the state budget. You have next week to do those calls. You can do them both. I'm asking you to just do them separately. No, Marianne, the mayor did not give me an appointment. I am still being ignored, but hopefully not for too long. Let's see what happens. Maybe VW repair commercials. I know I was working on my Beetle last night on the MG, and I'm still working on the brakes on that, and got to work on my bus a little bit yesterday. So hopefully this weekend I could finish doing the brakes on my MG. And then hopefully next week, my friend Alan will bring back the axle hubs for me, because he had to push out the axle stubs and the bearings, and then reassemble them and bring them back, and then I could fix everything else. So hopefully my bus and my MG will be on the road soon. New benefits prescription is so sad. Have to call and beg them to get approval and denied. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So Joseph, unless you tell me what your union is, if you're on the city plan or you're on a union drug plan, I can't answer that question. because I don't know what plan you're on. So if you're going to write me back and you're still on here listening, I need to know, are you on the Medicare plan? Are you on senior care? Are you on the NYC EPPO? Are you on the city drug plan? Or you're on a union plan? You got to give it to me all. 2 times. I will call them also. Okay, Judy, you do that. Are the projections assuming that all 5 say yes? Yes. Yes. Because I think the quid pro quo was that sweet that they would. But I will tell you, I'm at least being told one system is not. Marianne, you should put out a cutout picture of the mayor sticking out of your bushes, waving at everyone. Okay, I might try that. I might actually bring the stand up to City Hall when I come back on the 27th. I'll start carrying. Has anyone seen him? I'll let you know how that works. And if I do it, I'll let you know. Yeah, that's great. Mulgrew and Unity Leadership did everything to get Tom Brown, their chosen lackey, to win UFT's TRS election. Daniel Alisea wrote about so many violations. So did Tom Brown get reelected, Laura? I don't know. I hadn't been following that. I spoke with a trustee from the police pension fund. He said he would never vote yes on this pension funding by the city to be delayed a later date. Thank you, Dan. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you. Is the 2.29 billion? Yes, I think I answered that. Yes, I believe. Yes, all 5. Yes, across 5 pension systems. They were hoping the answer is yes. I have a bird nest over my head. I have receipts for no. So Luciana, you're not sending in anything yet because the case hasn't settled. You're just going to hold them in an envelope someplace safe. Hold them. Don't lose them. Hold them. Every receipt you find could potentially mean reimbursement for you. So hold on to them somewhere safe. How did you get so involved in this? My name is Dan, retired NYPD. So, hey, Dan. So, you may not remember me from years ago, but I also started the FDNY EMS Retirees Association, and I also was advocating for FDNY EMS after 9/11, and then formed a coalition across all the unions after 9/11 for 9/11 related healthcare. I happened to work in a location that gave me knowledge of certain things that was very instrumental in us fighting for our rights. And then that's how my advocacy started. And then, of course, I've been doing pensions and benefits for, I don't know, over 35 years, 40 years. It's been a long time. So, yeah, like 35 years. It's been a long time. Where is Mark Levine on this? So, Jeanette, I do believe Mark Levine does agree with the reamortization, as long as the money that is not now would not now be attributed to pension funding is used appropriately. And the way it was described to me is towards funding important things, like not frivolous things. But unless I see a full itemization of that list, I really can't tell you. But he sees an avenue for smoothing out the payments, was his words. And so we'll see what happens with that. We just started on conversations, and I told him that I may not always agree with you, but I respect you for at least having the conversation with me and listening to my position and why we're here. And yes, for all of you that gave us questions, we gave those questions to his office to respond to. As soon as we get those answers back, I will report back to you with those answers. So I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to give them a couple weeks to get those answers to us. Because it was a lot of questions and some explanations. And then I did invite him here to come and speak with us. So like I said, it's important that you speak with people in these positions, even if you don't agree with them, because we should know why he agrees with something that we don't, or he disagrees with something that we do. And at least to have the respect to have the conversation, even if you don't agree. So I'm happy that we have that with many other elected officials. And I want to keep that going because it's that conversation that builds trust and friendships. And they don't always have to agree with me. Like, look, I've been honest with you guys about Jim Brosey from the fire officers. He doesn't always agree with me. And he doesn't always talk to me. He almost never talks to me, to be quite honest with you. And I wished he would. If he's listening to this, just answer my text message, damn it. But it does show you that at least I know they're listening or they're reading, even if they don't respond. And I know Jim does. He may not respond to me, but at least my point of view is getting across, whether he agrees with me or not. And as well as the other elected officials, it would be nice to have a conversation because I think we've proven ourselves time and time again that we can have that intellectual conversation and be a presence to be seen and heard, even if we don't have a vote or a say on what's happening. But we should have a say, especially if people are making decisions that will be thrust upon us that may not impact us the way they think it will, like the decisions that have been made over the last 10 years. So let's see what happens with that. Any word on our city council action? So I'm assuming you're meaning our bill. I'm going to ask for one more week. So stay tuned. Mary Ann, how are retirees affected? I'm not quite sure what the full question was. If you were talking about the pension reamortization, so your pension will always be funded because by law, the state constitution, Article 5, Section 7 requires it to be funded. However, if they have to pay pension, which they do, and there's not enough money, they're going to reallocate it from somewhere else. And if they need to make more money, they will do something else. Perfect example, the mayor's budget. So he decided he's going to attach an additional tax to homeowners in the state of New York whose New York homes are over $5 million and this is their second residence. So that's an additional income source he's raising. Don't think they won't look to come after you to raise money because the MLC has done it every time your copays have increased or your deductibles. And we've shown you those documents. So this is why I'm saying to you, pay attention, because yes, they will fund your pension, but you as the retiree will get your pension, but they're going to take it back out of your wallet this time by increased copays, increased deductibles. If you're a resident of the city, they will increase fees or for services that you are currently paying. So they are going to find another way to get the money back that they are giving you because they have to make money somewhere else. Has Randy Weingarten said anything about this? No. Moving on. George Roman, Mayor, you have to run for mayor. Of course, because you want me to be driven crazy, right? Many of my 2022 copays were made on behalf of my deceased wife. Some of our providers didn't bill us for those copays. So, William, those are entitled to be reimbursed. I want you to put everything together. Keep it all. They were copays from 2022. I don't think it matters. And there's a process for that kind of a situation to be mitigated if that time comes. So I want you to hold all of that together. It doesn't matter when they were paid. You just have to show proof of payment. The bill goes back to the date in which it was covered. So for right now, just look for January 22 to January 23. Outside of New York City, 24-hour shifts are not allowed. Yes, Ellen, and they're actually paid by Medicaid in 2 12-hour shifts, the way it's supposed to be. It's just New York State thinks it's okay to make women slaves in the state, and that's wrong, and someone needs to put their foot down for that. Mary Ann, you're doing an amazing job as you poke Mayor Mom Donnie in your upbeat and imaginative way at having him hear you out. Can't believe there are some who want you to tone it down. Oh, yeah. Well, they wanted me to tone down a long time ago. I was like, we've been rather effective and we're going to stay that way. Does the mayor meet with anyone regarding the retirees? No. Remember when our unions actually cared for retirees, they supported the passage of the Medicare Act. Yes, in 1966, AFL-CIO worked, George Meany, who was also the Plumbers Local 1, for any of you plumbers, and supported the Medicare Act. It was labor and Martin Luther King that helped pass that act in 1965. Medicare Medicaid Act was one of the greatest civil rights achievements in healthcare. And unfortunately, labor doesn't know their history. Do you know why New York City is going after pension amortization while ignoring the stock transfer tax rebate? William, great question, William. So you heard me on my radio show this past week have a guest on speaking about the stock transfer tax. On Monday, May 25th, I will have Assembly Member Phil Steck on our show, on my Monday radio show, to talk about for a full hour. He's going to educate all of you on everything stock transfer. So get ready, buckle up. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have him talk about its history, why they're doing it, why they did it, why they stopped it, who implemented it, and why we should be bringing it back again. And then what you can do to help him, because he has a bill to bring that tax back in the assembly. Can Mamdani recoup the money for de Blasio? I have no idea. Great idea, Marianne. Mine was on last year, and I already called him. That's great. Are we supporting Walden's new group? I honestly don't know. I don't think I've seen a new group. I did 35 treatments of radiation in 22 to 23. I have a paper trail. Okay. I'm going to try to get a group to Zoom with my Senator Jack Martins. Wonderful. These home attendants should not be used as slaves. It's beyond belief that union leaders are not fighting this, and Garrido hopes they keep getting abused. And that, to me, is the most abhorrent thing. When I saw those Facebook posts and Instagram posts yesterday and today, even Michelle Keller and I were talking about it the other day. She said, you got to look at this. They're posting about this. This is frustrating to watch, that our own former union is advocating for people to work twice the amount of hours and only getting paid for half. It's absolutely deplorable. Yeah, it's because they have program filters for emails that they don't want to. Yeah. I also need to look at class action suit. When are you planning a PAC so we can use that money to buy ad time? So, Carol, we do have a separate link that we had started. And I don't know if I have it handy to be able. Oh, here it is. Hold on. So many of you were frustrated that the United Federation of Teachers and DC 37 were collecting money to use against us when we proved that they were lobbying against our legislation. Let me jump on over to Instagram just to check there, because I've forgotten you guys. Do I see any questions? No questions. Okay. So I'm going to drop this in the chats right now. This is the link for like your COPE or People's, your political action. This is separate from your other donation, but this those are usually smaller incremental payments that you would do on a monthly basis or whatever. You set up how you want to give it. It's not a formal PAC, but this is what we've allocated, where if you just want to do this, because many people don't want to do this. They don't care what we're lobbying for, although they should, because we're literally trying to get your bill passed in two separate jurisdictions, the city and the state. And this would definitely help us do that, because we have a lobbyist, we have attorneys, we have a tax lawyer, the bookkeeper. Like, the organization's got to keep functioning. And this is how we started to do some of that to help offset some of that cost. The advertising, this could also do that, but I do want to tell you, when you see those full page glossy ads, like in the Daily News or the New York Post or wherever you read, those ads typically run about $20,000. So I need you to understand what this looks like. In order to take a full page ad in the paper, 20 grand runs once. So this is why we haven't been doing that. And maybe if I did say this to you sooner, maybe you guys would have known what those expenses are, but it was something that we discounted right away because we didn't want to spend $20,000 doing something like that. Maybe if it was something big, or we needed to get attention really quick, or we could maximize our attention, but we're still trying to fund everything else. And the legislation to us is really super important, which is why we decided to step up we really haven't pressured for fundraising. So we started then doing fundraising since the middle of April, actually, to get people who are following us on our social media, in our Facebook page, emailing us for help, but not contributing to the organization. And we said, some of you never donated. Some of you haven't donated since December. Some of you haven't donated in the last several years. You guys are the ones, since we keep doing the work and we're not getting paid to do this, to help us fund this. So we said, you know what, now it's time, because we've been dipping into our savings, which thank God we have, but now we need to increase that. We need to actually have a full operating, monies to go forward to be able to step up this pressure. Because look, we're fighting this 5 years. We're all getting tired. We need to pass this bill, and we need to make sure that we have good people working with us in order to get these bills passed and out of the way, so that we could actually have a party and freaking relax and celebrate for everything of all of our sweat equity that we put into this. So this is why we started up fundraising again, to boost up those coffers. We need to bring our income up to just about $100,000 a month to be able to fund everything: the lawyers, the litigation, the bookkeeper, the lobbyist, all of this. So, and then remember, there's still compliance that we have to do, because we're doing all of this, that all of that has to be done as well. We have to report the political work that we're doing, or the lobbying work that we're doing. And then if you don't do it, they send you a nasty gram and fines. So it's really important that you stay on top of this, because it is a lot. Look, we're literally functioning like a full-fledged union. So there is the link. I did drop it in the chat, and please go to that if you want to make this. This is what we're saying would be allocated towards political action, specifically designated to that. Everything else goes towards the operation of the organization. So, but thank you for asking, Carol. We will look to do a class action suit if there is something litigatable on that, because the copay case was a class action, and that will help benefit each and every one of you if we can finally close that case. And the PAC would definitely be helped. We try to do the op-eds, which are free. We try to do interviews or profile information and get our information out there that way. That way we don't have to pay for the ads, which is why you're always seeing me write. But we'll look to see if we could do something pretty grand if we decide to spend to do that. I suggest that all of us in the city Part D prescription plan seriously considering leaving her for 27. So several of you have asked me about if you're on a Medicare Part D plan. So I don't know. I know Matthew had asked me about this question like once before. If any of you who are on an outside Medicare Part D plan and you're happy with that plan, or you have problems with the outside Medicare Part D plan, drop those comments. You don't need to give your drug issues, just generic. Just give us a generic issue or just a general support that the plan is great, because we've advocated a long time, like Ellen says here, that the Medicare Part D plans on the Medicare marketplace are usually a $0 premium a month, or average about $45 a month, versus the city plan, which is an expanse plan. However, it's $180 a month, which is ridiculous. And they don't give you an option to either take the full plan or not. So it's prudent to look outside. So for those of you that did take our guidance last fall and did opt to go into a Medicare Part D plan on the marketplace, let us know if it's a yay or a nay. Let us know in the comments below, so that when people go back and look at this segment, they will actually see that. Mondani's deputy mayor worked for de Blasio. I have no idea. How is it possible that union leaders who used to advocate for worker and civil rights have become so lost? I used to take courses at DC 37 given by the College of New Rochelle, classes about women in unions, bread and roses. What the heck happened? I'm going to tell you what happened, Roberta. More and more, we keep hearing from labor, and I'm hoping on Monday's radio show, if I'm able to lock them in, you'll see a group of Teamsters, mostly women, who are frustrated with their unions becoming corporatist, meaning getting in bed with management. And that's the same complaint we've had about DC 37, the UFT, the previous sanitation president, Harry Nespoli. These are issues that we've long raised, and we're watching this time and time again. This is why you see movements of union members trying to take back their union. It's because of that you'll hear Henry Garrido say, we've partnered with management. No, you didn't partner with them. You literally got in bed with them at the expense of your retirees or your members. And unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening. But it's not just New York City. It's happening in many unions around the country. I want you guys to hear this story. I'm hoping that they say yes to come in on Monday because their story is powerful, what happened to them. Joe Maniscalco had been writing about it as well. So we'll see what happens. George, I did 30 treatments of radiation. I lost all the $15 paperwork and my wife, but she passed away. So, George, you would be entitled to both yours and hers. There will be ways for you to get those copays. You can proof of payment of those copays. It's as simple as maybe even going to your doctor's office. And what we're trying to do is if this case does resolve, there will be a way that if you can't find any of those receipts, that you should be able to bring something to the doctor's office to get certified that they were paid and hopefully reimbursed. Okay, so hang tight. When we finalize all of that, you will hear from us. But if you're able to get maybe a rundown, a spreadsheet or something, or a letter that says all of those costs were paid, you have no outstanding balance, that would definitely help you. But hang in there, okay? How about the billboard truck going to Gracie Mansion to tell Mom Donnie to speak with you? That would be great if we could get it close enough, but I'll also tell you, how would you like to go to Gracie Mansion? Because I think we could do that. It's not the easiest place to get to, close, in proximity-wise to the train station, but I bet you we could do that, make that work. Hey, Mary Ann, what is the situation on Stephen Oliva? I've already discussed that in the beginning. Go back and watch. Thanks for the answer. I admired your efforts. Thank you. I'm glad you're with us. Luciana, thank you. You're the best. And thank you so much for what you're doing. God bless you. You too, Luciana. Is Menon supporting us? I can tell you I have not spoken to her personally this year, but I will be speaking to her shortly. Have you thought about setting up an encampment in front of Gracie Mansion or a silent vigil? Are you coming into town for that? Is there a corresponding bill in the Assembly? According to Senator Palumbo, there is none, and with only 3 weeks left in this session, looking bad. Joe, I know your sentiment. Trust me, I have been vocal on this, even to my own team. So there was a lot of fuck-ups with this, and some of them I do believe were intentional. However, they are fixing them. There is an Assembly bill. However, it does need to be transferred, renumbered, and then hopefully you get this. I can't tell you what will happen with this state bill this year. It's just been one thing after another. And no, I know you are absolutely 100% correct on this issue. The Senate, the legislature has appealed to the governor, we're told, to extend the legislative season because they have been focused on the budget, and now they've just did like their 12th extender through May 18th. So if they're able to finalize this budget, the theory is that they will extend the legislative season or try to push as many of these bills into the budget. But if they don't fix all the screw ups in our bill first, it's not going to make it anywhere this year. But do not worry about that, because we will bring the damn thing back. And then we'll just focus on the city council bill, which hopefully gets introduced between June and July. But I am well aware of this issue, and trust me, I have been equally as vocal on it, if not more, and my team has heard me loud and clear about how I'm not happy about that. We ran the city. We have experts on everything. We provide expertise for free. What's not to like? Willful blindness on the part of Mamdani. Well, remember, many in Mamdani's staff is from DC 37. They don't want to speak with us. Yes, that also came out today. Think of the second house value was lowered to $1 million, but they're not going to make a lot off of that either. The number, I think, was like 30 million or 60 million. It wasn't a lot of money. So Tommy, nice to see you. Have you been able to speak with Julie, although AFT own her? Not yet. Last time I spoke to her was just before the new year, but I have spoken with her staff. I'm being hopeful on that. Those conversations were very good. I'm supposed to see her soon. Okay. Yes, I'm aware. During January 22 to 23, I was under a catastrophic claim and already got reimbursed without copay, so I'm not refiling because that would be fraud. What, if anything, have you heard from those retirees who switched from the New York City drug plan to a private? So, Evelyn, I did ask for that. I'm going to try to make my way down there to see if any people have said that. Thanks, Anne Marie. My copays were reimbursed by my union, CWA 1180. Do you still want those receipts? I am not asking for your receipts, but I would tell you to at least hold on to them to see if anything in the paperwork would exclude you from that. In my opinion, we wouldn't be faced with all this if the bad actors who violated and deliberately bankrupted the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund were held accountable. Instead, Garrido and Mulgrew have been embraced by Mamdani and the other official. What the hell? What the hell? I know. But trust me, my dear, Judgment Day is coming. For the copay reimbursement, do we need EOBs? No, you don't need EOBs. You just need the receipts. I have WellCare. This is a Medicare Part D marketplace plan. I have WellCare, and so happy I didn't stay on the New York City plan. Thank you, Janet, for letting us know. Anyone else who is on a Medicare Part D plan that they got on the marketplace, please let us know. Are you happy with it or not happy with it? And remember something, guys. Those Medicare Part D plans on the marketplace, you have to put in your zip code, your medications, your gender, and because they need to know your age, where you live, and what drugs you're taking. And then the system tells you what plans cover your drugs in your area. And then they give you not just the premium for the plan, they also tell you what the drug will cost that year. This is why we've been pushing you to look outside, because the city wouldn't even tell us what was the formulary until after open enrollment closed. And you didn't even know drug prices either. So it's when they're hiding that much, there's no reason to stay there with them. I do monthly contributions. Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate you. Advertising on the truck seems to give us the biggest bang for the buck. Yes, it does. Okay, I will put that on my to-do list to tell the board next week I want to do the truck, and I will put the truck outside Gracie Mansion. I will do that. I promise you I will do that. Medicare has its problems. I've been denied claims. I don't qualify for Medicaid. I still pick Medicare over Medicare Advantage, but it isn't easy to file an appeal. So I don't know why you're getting denied $1,000. I don't know why you're getting denied scans. If you could email us at the organization above, Susan, tell us what situation you're running into. Also let us know what plan you are on, because I have never heard someone getting denied a scan on Medicare Senior Care. Never. I have never heard that. UFT's TRS election, I don't believe the results came out yet. Okay, thank you. Maybe before helping anyone, check to see if they donated. RA is now collecting dues. Well, there's an election coming up, Carol. They're trying to build up their coffers because they think they're going to beat ABC. And with RA having completely ignored us since January of 25, there's really no reason to work with anyone in RA, unless, of course, they want to. Now, they'll go around running around saying, we support you, but they don't do anything. They've never come to a rally. They don't donate to the organization. They don't help us out when we do anything. They didn't come to Albany with us. They make one excuse after the other. So I'm not considering RA being a supporter of New York City retirees. They may be supporters of a whole bunch of other political issues, just not ours. And definitely not on the one that they ran on that we helped get them elected for. When are you starting the fundraising? Oh, Marianne, we started fundraising the second week of April. So just go up to the website that's trailing at the top above my head, and you can donate right there. Literally, when you get to that screen, it'll say like, become a member, donate to the organization, sign up for emails if you weren't getting them. And you can make all your choices right there. Log into the portal, because this way you control when you donate, how much you donate. If your card was jeopardized and you need to change your payment method, you need to change your credit card, you log in, you can fix that. So it puts the all the control in your hands when you do that. Please do it. Absolutely important. Marianne and the board draw no salaries, by the way. Same with volunteers. We have done, yes, we have. All of our moderators too, our team on our Facebook pages that moderate and answer your questions. No one here gets paid. Nobody. For all the work that we do, all the social media that we create, all the videos you see, I do sitting here late at night. None of us get paid to do this. Weren't we going to get a letter to post for fundraising? Oh, you want me to make like a fundraising flyer? Okay. I'm sorry. If I did say I would do that, I'll put that on my to-do list. Fundraising flyer. Very good. Well, I know I had something else to say. Our fundraising total so far was $59,418. Let's see what we could do to get that up to at least $100,000 for the month. So we're at $59,418. So we want at least a minimum of $100,000 a month. That's why we were trying to boost it up like in small increments so that, people didn't like see this big goal and think it's unattainable. So do it the best that you can. I'm not looking to, squeeze more people who've been loyal and supporting. This is really the call out. Look, for all the years that we've been fighting this, we have proved time and time again of all the success that we've had, and we've become a force in this city for doing this. This is why it's important for retirees who are not supporting us to actually contribute, not just benefit from our work. So if that's one of you, look, every Friday I'm here for over an hour. Every single Friday. On Mondays, I do that radio show to also expand our reach. Every Monday, they're an hour. And that doesn't just take me an hour. I have to book people, interview them, talk to them, prep for that show. If I do news clips, I have to clip those. This is time investment. And then we're meeting with the lawyers. We're meeting with politicians. We're putting things together to share with everybody. This takes time to do. So all of us do this for free. You see the moderators on our Facebook page, they're doing this for free. They answer all your questions. Whenever you have Irma questions, Medicare B questions, questions for your drug plan, issues with your former union, we help you with that. Issues with OLR, issues with Social Security, we help you with that. But no one gets paid to do it. So keep that in mind and make sure that you do keep us funded so that we're able to help you going forward. Otherwise, it leaves us all at prey, unfortunately, at the hands of the union that you're no longer in. How can you find out info on other drug plans? So that's really easy. Go to Medicare.gov and there's an option to look at Medicare drug plans. You want a standalone drug plan. Do not get confused and choose Medicare Advantage. You want a Medicare Part D standalone drug plan. And I did a video on this. Go look at in our YouTube channel. We did post a video on how to find a Medicare Part D plan. Go to our channel. You can search them. If you still have trouble, email us and we'll help find it for you and email it back to you. But it's really that simple. Go to Medicare.gov. It'll ask you what you want to do. You want to find a drug plan. It'll take you to that page. Then you put in your zip code. You put in your medication. So make sure you have your bottles handy. And it'll tell you what plans are in your zip code that cover your medication. Regarding outside Part D selection judgments, maybe include your geographic region. You absolutely have to include your geographic region. It'll ask you for your zip code, Diane. I went onto a Medicare Part D WellCare Classic PDP. It's $47 a month. And I'm assuming you're happy. To this, private plans have picks in the event you need chemo. My city plan, while I was working UFT, covered chemo for me twice. I don't understand what you're saying, Jeanette. I do not, William. I have not had time to make a new one, but I'm telling you the number, 59,418. My husband and I got out of the city emblem drug rider plan and took a federal Medicare Part D plan, and give it a big yay and you a giant hug. You're welcome. That saved you a lot of money. Gracie Mansion sounds good. Okay, hoorah, there we go. FYI, UFA Ansbro not running for re-election for president. Vice President UFA, VP running for president unopposed. Who's the VP? Same here. Mine is $0 premiums a month. See, absolutely perfect. Yes, so far there are 5 sponsors. I think 6. There might have been 6 the last I checked on our Senate Bill 9945. That's why if you go to our Facebook page today, and I will do an email, a newsletter. I know I haven't done one in like 2 weeks, but I will do an email and I will put the homework there where I asked you to email and call the state senators who were on the bill last year to try to pull them on. The pension scheme is a poison pill. There are different people in groups who think cutting our benefits will solve everything. Let's not be saps and suckers. You're welcome. Thank you, Mary. And we just joined the organization. We'll be sending a donation to support your work. You do a great job. Thank you. I've been doing monthly contribute. Thank you, Mary Ann. I appreciate you. Called Virginia Maloney's office, District 4, and representative said she had productive talks with you. Yes, she has. So hang in there. I'll meet the sign truck again like I did last time in Astoria and City Hall. At least this time it will be warmer. Hang in there, Tommy. I'll put something together. If the billboard truck goes to Gracie Mansion, notify the news media, and we're doing it. Might get news coverage too. Yep. I was banned from RA. Well, Anne, I want you to know something. You're not alone, sweetheart. You know, we let them all in our page until they got kind of snippy, and some of them were quite rude. But I will tell you that I did apply to the UFT RTC page. And I will tell you they have not let me in either. And I applied to be there, and it was like a year ago, and it was still hanging. Actually, Carol, you also invited me in. I'm seeing that right now while looking at this page, because I knew right where it used to tell me how long ago it was. But Jonathan Hallaby does not let me in that page at all, and I believe he still controls it. So they're not looking for information. They banned you. I consider banning a stripe of honor. So clearly their Facebook page only has 2,600 people. That's about what they had after we helped them get that many people into their page, when they got elected, and it really hasn't grown, and that tells you a lot. I pledge to make a new contribution next week. Keep up you're welcome, John. I'm glad to see you. I changed from Emblem last year to a Medicare D with another Medicare plan, and it's less expensive and covers all my medications. Wonderful. So it looks like for those of you that went outside, you're pretty happy. TRS is forcing everybody this year who has taken out a partial RMDs to take out their balance by the end of October, thereby not accruing interest for November and December. They want to wait to December. They must take out their total RMD amount again, besides what they've already taken out. So I don't know. You may, if this is your TDA, if this is your TDA, honestly, Evelyn, you might want to consider going to a financial planner and rolling that into something else where maybe the rules are not so ridiculous. There's got to be a reason for them, for them to do that. Just do auto pay, super easy. Even $10 a month helps. Yes, it does. Thank you, Ellen. I'm raising my monthly contributions because it's the right thing to do. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you so much, Marion, and moderators, for all your time. I love our moderators. They are fantastic. It seems GHI senior care is useless and rarely pays anything after Medicare. Well, Laureen, basically Medicare pays the first 80%, senior care pays the last 20. By the time you pay your copay, there almost is nothing left, and that was done by design. Remember, the union said, you give us back that 20% plan, we'll give you that money for your welfare fund. When they could not force us into Medicare Advantage, they found another way, a backdoor way to get that 20% back. That was the copays. You can thank the UFT and DC 37 for that, Laureen. Michael Pisano, I loved air-cooled bugs. So my MG is really a beetle in disguise. It's not really a bug, but it is a beetle, and it's the same. You see my videos. I post them up all the time when I'm working on them. My bus is a 1971 1.6 liter, 1.6 cc engine, and that is a Volkswagen. And my other Volkswagen is a 1970 Beetle. It's the same engine, but it's a kit car, so it looks like a 1952 MG. It's total fiberglass. It's probably like a major death trap, but I still absolutely enjoy it. It's like topless, convertible. It does have a roof if you need it, and the doors are suicide doors. It's really kind of cool. One of our advisors that help us, he has a 1982 Spider, Alfa Romeo Spider, and I was helping him find parts for his car yesterday morning. It was kind of funny. I missed your answer. Do we need EOBs? No, just copay receipts. EOBs don't prove you paid. It just proves that there was an expense. 212 Rob in B. Thank you, 212 Rob. Tommy Hogan, love you. Everybody loves Tommy. Believe there's no number of sponsors to get the bill passed. It's determined by the number of votes. You need a majority in the state. Mary Ann, we need Scott Lebedo to get us to City Hall. He just loves things like that, and he gets his point across. Have you ever think about it? I don't even know if I know. I don't think I know who he is or how to get in touch with him, but thank you, Mary Ann. Moderators, you're a diamond. You should run for office. I see my husband's GHI senior care is terrible. We pay for almost everything now. And again, Eleni, that was designed by the UFT and DC 37, which will both say the MLC did it, but it would never go anywhere without their 2 votes. So stay tuned, because we're going to be exposing more shit from the MLC. City should tell us how much interest they earn by not paying our Irma reimbursements until a month later. I know. And remember, that's something we want to bring back, is getting that expedited. Thank you. DC 37 local 1930 retirees don't even get Part B reimbursement until autumn and no Irma or spousal benefits. You know, Camille, I know what you'd said this once before, and I ran against this the other day. I think this is disturbing and also should be exposed. I'm going to write this down as well so I don't forget. And no spousal benefits. I didn't know that either. And I don't think there's many unions that are like that, but yeah, this tells me that DC 37 is not doing its job. You explained well how the current New York budget is not like the 75 crisis. It seems New York credit is very good, AA, but instead of borrowing elsewhere, our officials and union leaders are eager to play us for easy negotiations. So in this situation, I would not encourage them to take out a loan to pay down debt. I mean, that's like, you know, using your credit card and keep buying stuff and then keep just refinancing the credit card debt to pay for sneakers you bought 50 years ago. But we are in a better financial position because we do have a bond rating that does allow us to borrow money. Back in the 70s, we didn't have that. There was no money, and we weren't able to borrow money either, and no bank wanted to touch them. I placed check number and amount on EOB. No good. No good. You'd have to provide us with a check number or a photo of the check or your bank statement to show that matches, but you'd have to look for those or ask your bank for those. So start making those inquiries next week and let me know what you find. And I saw that they're only giving us 80% of the Part B. Oh, that's interesting. TRS is saving money by not having to pay interest for November and December. Yeah, I was thinking that when you said it, is that there's a reason for them doing that, and it's most likely to benefit them, not you. My former local has a special agreement with the New York Public Library. Okay. Well, guys, so let me just take a quick check on over at Instagram. So Instagram, I knew he was coming for pensions. Yep, statute of limitations, absolutely. So coming back over. So I'm just here almost an hour and a half. I'm going to call it a night. I have my own homework to do. I'm going to ask you guys over the weekend to please email those senators on the list that I posted on our Facebook page, and I will email them. So if you're not on Facebook, don't worry. I will make sure that you do see them because I will email them out. Make sure you are signed up for our emails. If you have been a never donor or haven't donated since December or before, I'm going to ask you to finally join this organization and help us with this fight. We really want to get this legislation introduced. The first time we introduced a bill was in 2023, and we did it in July. And so we're going to bring that city council bill back, and we're going to do it pretty loudly. We want to get that bill passed this year to make sure that you have instant protection now. And then we want to be able to help pass that state bill, and that will most likely get more work on it next year. I do not see that happening this year with the state of the budget still not being passed. It's their 12th extender, even though they are saying that they would put some of these bills into the budget to get them passed. We still don't have a companion bill on the Senate side, on the Senate bill. So I'm not that hopeful on this state bill for this year, but I have better feelings about the city council bill. Remember, we didn't start that the first time until July. So let's see how that goes. Yes, absolutely, Ellen, for for anyone who's not donated, donate. Please join this organization. We have proven ourselves time and again that we have been the only organization that has been championing your protection and have been quite successful at doing it. And we really do hope that in the very near future, we have another really good set of news to bring to you, and our team will appear. So you will see a notice come. If there's breaking news, we will always break in your weekend, your evening, whatever, and let you know what's happening. So I think that's it. Dan, Long Island Shields are running another raffle. With proceeds from that raffle will be sent to your org for the legal fund. Thank you, Dan, and thank them as well. We absolutely appreciate what they're doing. I have, please join. Thank you, Evelyn. Love you too, Laura. So you guys stay healthy, enjoy your weekend. The weather's supposed to be really nice, and take some time to relax and get outside. You will see me on the radio on Monday, and I'm hoping that we'll have the Teamsters groups, that women that are opposing the Teamsters, of what they've been doing to them. So hopefully that'll be Monday. I'm hoping to confirm that in the next couple of hours, so keep your fingers crossed. Otherwise, on the 25th, I do have Phil Steck, Assemblymember Phil Steck, coming on to spend the hour with us on Monday the 25th to talk about the stock transfer tax, which I know several of you on this Friday Live have asked about. So absolutely, make sure that you do hang out with us and watch those shows. Monday, 5 p.m., I will be on WBAI 99.5, and you can live stream that on WBAI.org, and then next Friday here. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great day. I love you guys. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales